so she had really changed her life, and she believed so strongly that she always knew she was supposed to be a Christian, and that she was, the pearly gates and the streets of gold and all that stuff.
So you want for them what they wanted for themselves, whether or not that is necessarily. Is that what your belief really boils down to, is just a desire for the afterlife that others want?
I mean,
for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for people to live their lives the way that they want. If that's what their heart is set on, then my hope is that they get what they want and what they believe.
Does it matter if that belief is true or not? Does it just give you comfort to think that, to know that that is what happens?
It gives me comfort. I don't think that there's any way I could ever fully know for a fact that that's what happens until that happens to me. I mean,
does it give you comfort to think that you will gain your desired afterlife? Would you want to be with the family that is at God's feet, worshiping Him forever?
I mean, there's nothing more in this world that I would want than to see my mom again, my little brother, my little sister, and to hug them. I would give anything for that. But would I want to sit there at someone's feet and worship them for eternity? No, absolutely not. And I would hate to say that, and I would even hate to say it out loud, but that just sounds terrible to me. I think it sounds selfish and kind of disgusting, really. Mm-hmm. And I hate to say that, but
it's honest. There's nothing wrong with it if it's honest.
Yes, sir.
You say you hate to say it. Is that because you're afraid that might offend somebody?
I'm not really concerned about offending people if it's the truth. I mean, sometimes the truth is offensive, but
is it because it goes against what you were taught, the
probably.
Indoctrination?
Yeah, probably. And also the thought of if my mom can hear me at all, then she's like smacking me. But but I that's more. I think it's more of just hurting my mom.
Is it what most of this belief, the lingering bits, are tied to? Is what your mom expected and wanted of you?
Oh God, no. I mean, I definitely did not, live up to anything that she wanted me to do or be. But in the religious part, maybe because just a respect thing, I tried to respect my mom to the utmost. With everything I did, I tried so hard to respect her, but I never lived up to the stuff she wanted me to do. I say, sorry, go ahead.
You can go ahead.
I was going to say, that in the last few years, 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago, like overnight, quite literally overnight, seemingly, I came home and I never left. And I was always a mover and a shaker, and the life of the party, the first one there, the last one to leave. And before I knew it, 3.5 months had gone by, and I had not been outside or I had not left my house. And I'm going on 4 years now, but they call it agoraphobia, and it just kind of came on. Well, before I knew it, it took off, and a lot of things just kind of changed for me in that way. But in this time, I kind of immersed myself in experiences of my own, and that's what I believe in. I believe in experiences that I've had of myself, like what I know to believe is what I've seen and felt. And since I've been here in this, like, whatever you call it, I've learned so much about energy and my system and about peace, and kind of, it was kind of crazy, but that's what I believe now, I think.
Other spirits, other realms, energy.
Because when I was a child, I was like at the grocery store with my grandmother, and some woman, I heard her walking up with her heels on, and I turned and looked, and this really pretty lady walked up, and she had this dress, looked at me and smiled, and she started to speak. But when she spoke, it just sounded like, to a child, it was like gibberish. It sounded really crazy, but I knew that it was something strange. And she smiled, and she kind of patted me on the head, and she walked away. And my grandmother, I could see the reaction of my grandmother, which was she was very upset by it. But the woman kept on walking, and so throughout my life, a few times that's happened to me, at different ages, of course, where people would just like walk up to me and say the craziest things, like this language almost. And I never knew what it was until right about the time that all this happened with my agoraphobia. I was in my kitchen and I was cleaning up from lunch, and I just started saying these words. And I was standing there at the sink looking out the window, and I was completely conscious of what I was doing, but I did not know what I was saying. And the words like turned into a sentence, and then the sentence turned into a paragraph, and the next thing I know, I'm standing in the middle of my kitchen floor, and my head is back, and my head's back because the words that are coming out of my mouth were so like powerful that I had to like raise my head up, and it was loud, and so my husband came out, around the corner and walked into the kitchen, and he just looked at me and he said, "Chance, stop!" And I couldn't stop, and it freaked him out and freaked me out too. But I remember that it was along the same lines of the same language that I heard my whole life, off and on my life. And then I started going outside and building a fire at night. I thought that's what I was supposed to do. I felt led to do that. And so every night I would go out and build. I just opened my mouth, and I felt like I needed to open my mouth. And when I did, I just started speaking in that language again. It made no sense to me whatsoever. Still doesn't really make sense to me. And that was the experience that I had that I think was...
Chance.
Yeah.
You say that sounds like a spiritual experience to you. Do you hear, after saying it out loud, how it might sound like a psychological experience for someone?
Yeah, absolutely. I can see where it would sound that way, for sure.
So you feel like you had a spiritual experience, and throughout your life people have come up to you and spoken a language that you didn't understand. Is there any possibility that these memories could be either manufactured or altered in some way?
I mean, a possibility. I mean, anything is possible, but I know that I know what I know. I know that I know what I saw and what I heard. I mean, I believe with my whole heart, that that's the truth.
I see.
Yeah.
Do you know any other languages?
I don't.
Did your family speak any other?
Speaking English. I will, however, I will say that, to be fair with your point, I do have DID, and I've been told that one of my altars speaks fluent French, but I don't speak French at all. I never learned French. I never took French in school. I don't know anyone that is French. That's not ever been a thing of mine. So, but the language that...
You grew up in the South.
Yes, sir.
Which South? Which state?
Oh, Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Yes, sir.
Not quite as heavy a Cajun population as Louisiana, but...
No.
My thought as well.
It sounds like Arkansas is French. You see how they don't pronounce that S?
There's that. Oh, you're saying it's supposed to be Arkansas ass.
Basically. All I know is when you can't hear consonants, you know it's French.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
is there any
to Thrayle's
possibility
point,
you've exposed to French or some other language, and perhaps, well, not like it.
I mean, I can joking with my one daughter, or my granddaughter, I can, try to speak French, and I am, 77% French, but, and that was something that someone had mentioned reincarnation. That was something that I was told before. It could have been a possibility. Because, when I was, I did the ancestry and then the 23 thing, it came back that I was the 77% French, which was kind of surprising to me. But as far as have I ever spoke it on my own or tried to learn it, never.
It's not impossible for an altar to be fluent. It's not impossible. It's improbable, but it's not impossible for an altar to be able to be fluent, or at least more than proficient.
Yeah.
It's just really rare.
And yeah, to me it sounds I don't like to tell people. I don't tell people usually, especially like this. But yeah.
Is it possible that the experiences you had as a child was this?
I'm sorry, like the DID?
Mm-hmm.
Well, to my knowledge, I did not have my first split, or until I was 7 when something happened. That was the first time I had that's when the first one was born. All of mine were born out of trauma. So
I understand.
Yeah.
I'm very familiar with
okay.
the condition. I have a few friends with it.
Thank you. It is possible, yes, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Do you find that it might be possible that your experience could be related to your system?
I mean, I anything. I guess it's possible. Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know. It's one of those things that I don't. I would love to know. I try to learn. I try to know. I'm very. I pay such a close attention to everything. And I'm very careful. With everything I do, I'm very careful because I want to be in control always, and I know I'm not always the one that is in control. Can I say one more thing about the people that have come to me? It sounds really crazy and maybe a little bit delusional.
I'd have to wonder, Chance, before you tell us more about it.
Right.
You say it can sound a little crazy, it can sound a little delusional. I'm not going to call you crazy, but I do wonder if you might, recognize that what you're describing could be delusions.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
If you can recognize that, then why would you use those in a foundation of a belief?
I think I just used it like, and maybe off the cuff. I don't know really what you mean, but I mean, I know that it's a possibility, and I know that, but I think I try to stay grounded. I try so hard to stay grounded. and stay aware of everything around. So I don't think that answered your question, but I don't really know what you meant.
That's okay, Chance.
Sorry.
I don't really have too many more questions, but
Okay.
but if anybody else does, this would be a good chance before we move on. No pun intended.
You're good. Thank you guys so much. You guys are awesome. I love what you guys do.
I do not have any further questions.
Thank you, Morgan. Thank you,
I
Matthew.
appreciate you, Chance.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you for coming up and sharing with us and demonstrating that you can question your beliefs even in the face of what seems like overwhelming odds. Things, parts of your brain even trying to convince you of realities that may not be real. I appreciate that you do question, and I hope you keep questioning. If you come up with new answers, definitely bring them back. We'll be happy to question you
Yes, sir.
even more. But yeah, let's hit some W's for Chance in the chat. And if Chance or anybody else is interested in joining our community, there is a Discord link in the link tree in my bio or in the Batcolyte's bio. You can always follow that. Anybody's welcome to join if you read the rules and you can accept them. Then you should find out that you're not alone. We had other guests in queue, but it never fails. There's always at least a few ghost guests.
Spooky.
Where is it? Nope, that's not the right one. That one. Yeah. See, there's the ghosts.
Ah, that's where they went.
Maybe I need a better one that represents soul. A better image.
What do you think? What do you think a better image would be, though? Well, according to that one definition, it's just air.
Right. I thought it was interesting that when we had somebody who believed in source and we put this picture up, after they went from saying it was a void or a nothingness with pure potential, they began describing the potential as swirling light around a focused point, always trying to get to it.
A little on the nose, don't you think?
I know. I thought it was interesting. It was so interesting because as she was describing it, I took the picture down because I thought we were about to get to belief, but as she was describing it, I'm like, wait a minute. And I put the picture back up, and she just kept going further, describing the little lights, trying to get to the center. And I was like,
Aha, I see.
I wonder if there were some influence there.
I was wondering if God's green medicine was involved.
That influence might have been involved as well. I mean, to be fair, I might have been around that influence myself at that point.
You weren't alone.
But if anybody watching does have a belief in a god or God's higher power or anything like that, you're capable of questioning your belief, go ahead and request on up. I'm not here to debate you or argue or tear you down. I just want to know if you can question your beliefs. Well, then what is it that you believe? And why do you believe it? And yeah, why? Well, I had another question in mind, but I realize it might offend a previous guest too. And yeah, now that I've said it, everybody's going to want to know what that was. Oops.
Oopsie. Wouldn't you like to know, Weather Boy?
Mm-hmm. So, bringing that back though.
Oh, I knew you were gonna do this to me. A soul or a spirit? Okay. At this point, I don't have an answer, but I can certainly pontificate.
Well, you believe in something like a spirit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I
what is
do
that?
believe in ghosts. I believe in the Fae. I believe in... Don't do it, Morgan. Don't be stupid.
Be honest.
I don't know. I don't know what they are. I hold on to the belief because I enjoy the fun of it. And it...
Are you saying spirits are whimsy?
Of course they're whimsy. But if I were to give an honest answer, a truly honest answer, I hold on to it for my kids.
Can it be the case that you do not hold it to be logically coherent, but can
Yeah,
still hold
absolutely.
it culturally coherent?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that what you
'Cause
mean by hold it for your kids?
yes. Because, I mean, it's the same thing. I have no idea. I have no idea if there's God. I have no idea if there's spirit. I mean, there is energy. There's various definitions of energy, but I don't know the spiritual, religious belief version of energy. I don't know what the fuck that is. But I also hold the belief that we may find out someday, but we just don't have those answers. So until we have those answers, I don't know what the fuck they are. But either way, because of that belief, I'm able to separate whimsy from reality.
I'm gonna head out, but thank you.
Of course, Missy. Thanks for
Always
being
happy
here.
to have you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Appreciate you. So, the idea of spirits existing is more of a whimsical, I don't know.
I would say so. I know the first time, like the very first time I came up, I talked about the whimsy of everything and whatnot, and it's this is the one part of my, well, I guess this is this is my God residue. Nah, yeah, honestly, just because my children deserve to have hope.
Hope in what? And does it matter?
I
if
use
that
it
hope
as,
is,
sorry.
I also want to know if it matters if the hope is false or not.
No, it doesn't. What hope isn't false?
tomorrow will be better than today. Sometimes that can be true, sometimes that can be false. But it's hope, it's not a declaration.
Mm-hmm.
Some hope can be true, though, right?
Is it true, or does it end up being proven?
Well, that's what I mean, though.
But you can't possibly know that a hope...
Right, but we don't. I mean, this is going to come down to semantics.
It is going to come down to semantics.
Do you hope that there is an afterlife?
No. I'd be... honestly, it's why I pushed the... Why would you be afraid of the dark if there's nothing there? 'Cause that sounds so nice. As a lot of people probably know, I have a lot of shit in my head, and I have a lot of skills that I can just, throw out on a whim and say, yeah, no, I know how to do that. And that's really loud all the time. So I don't think I would mind if there wasn't anything. I don't even think I really care.
Apatheism. Not caring if there is a God or not.
I think that's where I'm at right now. I don't know if that's how I'm going to feel forever, but kinda.
Do you think in the end it will matter if you believe or not?
I don't think it'll matter to me. And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with when it comes to belief and religion. And this is completely unintentional, but sometimes we believe what we want to believe, not for ourselves, but for the people we care about, because we want them to be happy and loved and cared for, even beyond what we can conceive after unalivement.
You think that leads us to construct false hopes for them rather than for us?
Yeah. And I can see where this is tying back into providing my children false hope, but my point still stands that regardless of whether the hope is false, the hope is still there, and that's the driving force. That's the glue that holds people together when they're going through tough times. I think that even a hope held by a child can still bring some comfort as an adult. And if you're taught those skills at a young age and taught how to recognize when you need hope and the right application of it, that's, I think, what sets people up to be the best people they can be. And all of those are driven by cultural practices.
Do you think that's the utility now, is just to provide false hope when we need it? Like a
Go ahead.
Like a security blanket.
Yeah. And that may not be how everybody feels about it, but just observing it empirically, I would say, yeah.
Religion is a blanket or thorns. I wonder.
I think that was supposed to be of thorns.
Is religion a blanket of thorns? It's an interesting point there, Malia.
That is an interesting statement.
A blanket of thorns. Why would anybody cover up with that at all?
I can't say that.
I guess once you do, it's hard to take it off.
That's a valid point, and that's what a lot of people struggle with, especially when it comes to belief. If you have a belief.
That is a very layered metaphor. It's almost as layered as a sandwich. It's almost like
A sandwich?
it is a sandwich.
Oh,
And if you
man.
believe in a sandwich or a god or God's higher power or anything else that's sandwich, well then go ahead and request on up. If you can, of course, question that sandwich. Also, we're at 109 for, I don't know, the last 5 minutes, wondering if it was going to change. Let's tap the screen a little bit more. Maybe we can get a few people in here to question their beliefs. Thank you, guys. There's that 120. It's been, I've been like, why doesn't
Just like,
that,
what? Where is it?
where's the tapping gone? If we tap just a little bit, we could probably get somebody else in here who can question their beliefs. As well as Morgan can, because I've already questioned Morgan right out of her beliefs, and I'll question her out of them again if she picks them up.
You're just slapping it. No, put it back.
Well, I mean, if you pick it up and honestly hold on to it after questioning, I don't feel like I failed. I just feel like I don't
Reach the end of your questioning.
maybe you failed.
I might agree with.
Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
Hi, good morning. I'm 29.
And do you have a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that?
Yes, so I do believe in the biblical God.
And have you read the Bible from beginning to end?
Yes.
And do you believe it to be entirely true and literal?
No.
Are there parts of it that are true and parts that are poetry? Is that what it is?
I think that because it's been translated so many times from its original, and there's also different, versions of the Bible, that a lot of it can be like misconstrued or misinterpreted, or
Interesting.
like I feel like a lot. Okay, so I was raised Seventh-day Adventist.
Oh, so you used to take it literally.
Yeah, so like basically that religion is supposed to be like exactly as the Bible says, but the King James version of the
Right.
Bible, right?
And do you think the King James version is accurate?
That's where it gets confusing for me. And that's where I can kind of question it, because also so I grew up, my parents were not together, so I kind of grew up in like two households. And it was very confusing for me growing up like that as well, because like kind of being raised in two different households, it's like, okay, well, they do it like this way, and then these people do it that way. So then it's like,
We're,
how do I know which
we're
way
both
is
households.
right?
Yeah, we're both households Christian,
Um,
but
yes.
one Seventh Day, the other more denomination.
Yeah, I guess something like that. But one like my dad's side of the family was a lot more like they wouldn't celebrate things like Christmas. They weren't like a Jewish religion, or but they wouldn't celebrate things like they would say like everything was like pagan, like holidays were pagan. So like no
Was this Jehovah's
Easter.
Witness?
No, they weren't Jehovah's Witness. It was more of like I guess I don't know if they did like their own kind of
Okay.
theological studies, or they would say like the Catholic Church is the root of all evil, and they corrupted like the way Christianity is like supposed to be.
That sounds a lot like Jehovah's Witness.
Well, they would never call themselves that.
Well, it could be other forms of Seventh Day Adventists do that as well. So you were raised in a very literalist denomination, but two different varieties of that.
It kind of seems like everybody just made up their own kind of rules in a sense. So that's where it got kind of confusing to me, because like my mom's side of the family, like my mom like individually was not very religious, like didn't go to church, like I think like she believes in God, but like wasn't very like practicing, I guess you could say. But like my grandma, grandpa, my aunt, everybody else was more just like went to church every Saturday, just strict about like, you can't watch TV on Saturday. You're not supposed to go out to like restaurants or buy anything, because that goes into like you're not supposed to buy or sell on the Sabbath day, right?
This is very Seventh Day Adventist. This is what the seventh day part is. So, Marley, I'm curious. As far as what you believe now, you still believe that this God exists, the Christian God?
Yes, I do believe in the God. I feel like the religion part is where it's like I don't really know like what to be true.
Do you feel like if you had access to the Hebrew texts of the Old Testament and the Greek texts of the New, that you would have a better understanding of what this God is?
I feel like that could help, or maybe give
Do
me
you
like a
think?
different perspective of it.
Sorry. Do you think that those that those versions of the book would be true if they were as original as we could get?
I mean, I feel like it could be just as true as like any other history book. Because I've listened to this live for a minute now, and I have heard like, how do you know that like you like basically the prophets, right? It's like the stories of the Bible. Like, how do you know that they were telling the truth, right? Because like a lot of those stories are like, or all of them are prophecies, right? Like visions that they're seeing, and so you're like, how would you know if they're just making it up or if they're actually getting this message from God, right? And so from what I've learned from church and Bible studies that I've had in the past, like now that basically if you were to like lie about something, that you would basically like be sent to basically say that like, God told you, like basically like they knew that if they were to lie about something, that it was like just really bad, and like they'd be like damned to hell for the rest of life
You think that
or afterlife.
you think that if the people writing the Bible had lied, that they would be damned to hell, so they wouldn't do it?
yeah, or they were just like so terrified.
Do you think it's not possible that people just made shit up and wrote it in books to convince other people to behave the way they wanted them to?
No, I don't think that that's not possible.
You don't think it's not possible?
Yeah.
So you do think it could have happened?
Yes. Before, like, you know, like, well, why wouldn't people just make that up? Like, oh, because they knew that, you know, but I'm like, well, how do I know? I'm just supposed to take your word for it? You know, like,
Right.
I've always had lots of questions. Like, even when I was little, like, I think my grandma got mad at me one time because we were doing like a Bible study. She would make me like, well, like, I don't know. She would just like, I would like learn like Bible verses, and we had like other books that like from other prophets, like if you've heard of like Ellen G. White, which I know that's very controversial, but just as an example, I would just like question things, and I'm like, well, what about the dinosaur? So mad at me that she would just be like, I'm not talking to you for like the next hour or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, well, that doesn't help me like with my curiosity. You know, I'm just supposed to believe you because you're telling me this.
It sounds, Marley, like you can question it, like you doubt even the the main narrative of Christianity to some degree. Why do you believe that this God exists?
I don't know. I think that just like the existence of the universe and the world and just nature, and I like it's kind of just like how do I say this? Like a spiritual feeling, like a soul. Like I feel like it's very like unique.
Ask what those mean, but before we get there, Marley, uh, you say because we exist, because things are here, um, implying something made it. Is that part of what leads you to believe there's a God? Is that you think that we needed to be created by something?
Yeah, I'm saying like I do believe that God created the universe. Like I don't believe in like the Big Bang Theory or that.
Right. Why do you believe God created the universe?
Um,
Do you believe
so
it happened like the Bible says? 6, 7.
yes, I would believe that. Yes,
You
but I
would
think
believe that, but you couldn't believe the Big Bang. I'm sorry, Marley. I don't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to get to that question.
hard to explain, but I guess because of like back to what I was saying about the spiritual thing, I feel just like like existing as a human. I feel and just like being like nature, like being a part of nature. I think like humans naturally have this like they like are like a natural curiosity. Like everybody wants to know like why are we doing this? Why are we here? Where do we come from? Kind of thing. But I feel like for me, like why I believe in like God or like the biblical God is kind of because like I just kind of feel.
Oh, you cut out. You just kind of feel. You cut out on the word feel, I think.
Did we lose her?
She might have gotten a phone call. Sometimes it doesn't teacup people
Doesn't
on
teacup.
phone calls.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and mute her.
Did I cut out?
There you go. I was
There we
about to
go.
mute you.
going off because I have to get to work soon. But
Same.
You said the
what was the
word
last thing that I said?
feel. Sometimes we feel. It was right at the beginning. It was right when you started. And
Oh, I was saying, like the reason I believe in like a god or God, not a god, like the God created the universe rather than just believing in like the Big Bang is because like I feel like that connection. I said like as humans, like we're naturally curious. Like everybody wants to know like why we're here,
right.
what the purpose is and everything. And I feel like just naturally deep down it's like an instinct almost, at least for me. Like that's how I
You feel
feel.
like it's an instinct to believe in God or an instinct to question why we're here?
I feel like it's an instinct to be able to like or want to. I think okay, like the curiosity comes from like being a human. So I would feel like God created us with a natural curiosity. And so I
God
feel like
created us with a natural curiosity.
human beings, like you know how like animals have instincts, they're just born like that. You know, it's like baby turtles, sea turtles, they know to just run out to the sea. I feel like a certain connection when thinking about like an explosion that was like random.
Right. I don't think explosion that was just random quite covers the Big Bang. It feels like a reduction.
Well, not necessarily the Big Bang, but just like any kind of theory. Like,
Right.
I mean,
Does it feel like, Marley, maybe that you feel like something should be there, you question what that might be, and you assume it's something like what you've been taught, like the God of the Bible that creates in a certain way, in a certain order. Is it possible that those are the answers that people have assumed for as long as people have wondered, without being able to verify it, and that now we might be able to find something that contradicts that?
I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say essentially is that like I believe in God as a creator, and I feel like his intentions were good, and I feel like everything
Right.
in nature makes sense as to that. But as far as like religion goes, I feel like
just have
that's
to
where I
stop
feel
you
like
there,
it got
though, because you said
misconstrued.
his intentions are good. The same God, according to at least the way you believe, then would have created the wasps that lay eggs in their prey's eye, so that the babies can be born with a meal. That's good, or that. I mean, I feel like if I go any further into some of the things that happen in nature, it would probably violate TOS.
Yeah.
But like, and this is a good God that does these things.
See, so okay, so that's where I am trying to like get to is because like of course like okay, like if God's so good, then why do all these bad things happen, which is what like, a lot of people question. And so then it goes for me what I've been taught or what the Bible says, you know, it's because of Satan, right? There's this whole narrative of like Lucifer, and but then you can go back to that, and that's where all the questions come. Like why would God, like if he, you know, he had his angels with him, why would he even let the angels choose to be evil? Why would he let Satan come down to the earth and make everything wicked? And then that's when all this corruption came, and that's where evil came from, and pain
Well,
and suffering.
and the way you describe it there, when letting Satan come down to make things evil, certainly raises questions based on the text. Where would you find that?
I'm talking about in Genesis, like in the first book of the. Did you say where?
Yeah.
I mean, I could look up. I have a Bible. I don't have that much time, but I can see. It's like after he talks about the creation of the earth
Yeah.
in Genesis, like after the
Genesis
seventh
1
verse.
is the creation. Genesis 2 is the That's creation, but in a different order for some reason. And then Genesis 3 is the snake in the garden, right? And they eat the apple. And is it one of those?
Yeah, okay, because so after like the creation, he talks about the Garden of Eden, and then he immediately brings a serpent into it. Is that what you mean?
Is that where you think the Satan is? Is the serpent?
Yes.
Does it say that Satan is the serpent?
Yeah.
Where does it say that?
Like I said, I don't know. I have Genesis up right now. I don't know everything by like numeral.
While you have Genesis up, are you familiar with the contradiction I just mentioned? The order of creation being different from chapter 1 to 2.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
The order of creation being different in chapter 1 and chapter 2. Are you familiar with that contradiction?
What do you mean?
Where it says that, plants were made before the animals and the animals before the man in chapter 1. But in chapter 2, it's the man before the plants, and then the animals, and then the woman.
Oh, is this like the chicken and the egg thing that y'all were talking about?
No, not chicken and egg. In this case, it's plants, animals, man, woman. And then in the second chapter, man, plants, animals, woman. So not chicken and egg, plants and man. And
Okay.
animals.
Because from what I was taught or what I gathered from all this and like, the stuff I learned in church was that like Satan made himself into a serpent, right? And like, so it wasn't that there was already
So Satan's never mentioned in Genesis 1 or 2 or 3.
So you're saying that the serpent is not Satan?
I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying it doesn't say that. I mean, I don't know why anyone would believe it, but I don't know how you get that Satan is the serpent.
I mean, I've never had anyone say that it's not. I've never even heard that theory. Or
Does it? Well, I mean, we just glossed past the creation order being out of order, but yeah, the serpent being Satan in chapter 3. It's never mentioned that that's Satan. As a matter of fact, how would it make sense for it to be Satan, since it later gets cursed to crawl on its belly and bite at the heel of man and eat dirt? Like, is that what happens to Satan? Or is that describing a really bad understanding of what snakes do? Uh-oh. I don't know if it's my signal or yours, but we're getting a little robot happening.
oh, I think it's the red bar thingy.
Yep, there's the red bars.
Someone said, okay. Well, yeah, I have to get going, but
I appreciate you.
I guess I'll go touch some dirt, as someone mentioned in the comments.
I hope that you keep asking questions, Marley. I've seen you in requests before, so I know you watch, and I hope that you come back and maybe we get to ask you some more questions. I hope you keep asking those questions too, and take care.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Marley. I don't know that we got really too to a questioning point with Marley. I mean, we question, sure, but I don't know that Marley's quite questioning as far as we'd like, but I do hear questioning in there, and I hear genuine curiosity and doubt even. So yeah, we can throw some W's out for Marley. And I appreciate everyone who comes in questioning their beliefs, even if they're not questioning everything. It is good to hear some questioning go on. Oh, is that... No, he's a runner. I saw him in the queue for a moment. I went to accept it. And Forrest Mendez just can't handle being questioned. Oh, neither could that guest. I didn't even catch the name. Well, if you have a belief in a god or God's higher power or anything on up, I'm not here to debate you or argue. I'm not here to tear you down. I just want to know if you can question what it is you believe in. And I appreciate you, Official Cassie. Yeah, accidentally requesting while tapping the screen is absolutely forgivable. Well, I see those W's, Huggy, and I raise you W's for you and the mods. Thank you so much for all that you do. It does not go unnoticed. It's still a little early for poetry. I mean, I guess I could start aiming that direction, but if anybody has one of those, what do they call them? Beliefs. And you can do that. What's that thing again? Oh, questioning. Yeah, if you can question that belief thing you have, and you have one of those, and it's like for a God thing or a higher power source, energy, vibrational frequency, deity, or something like that. And again, you can do that, question or argue, or even really burgle your God. Although there is always room in the shed for one more. I just want to know if you can question your beliefs. Well, then, what is it you believe, and why do you believe it? Doom and Gloom says that questioning myself gets boring, and in all the ways you can imagine. I can understand that, Doom and Gloom. I have heard you question yourself, and I'm not saying that it makes sense. I'm not saying it makes sense that you would bore yourself, but I've heard the way you question yourself, and it does feel like it might it might lead you in circles, chasing the assumptions that some of your, that any of your assumptions are trustable, that any of them are worth trusting, I think should be the better way to put it. I know they're not set in stone, and maybe that's why, because of the fluidity of it, maybe that's why it's frustrating and boring to question yourself, because, well, I don't know. I don't get bored questioning you. I just don't know how to help you find whatever it is you're looking for, and you look very hard. I hear it when I question you. But maybe that's the point. You get to a certain stage of questioning, and no one can help you find what's next, because there is no finding it, because you recognize that all you're going to do from there is question. Hey, Paul, can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
18.
What year were you born?
2007.
Do you have a belief in a god or gods, higher power, or anything like that?
Are you retarded, nigger?
Wow, Paul. Wow. Paul just decided to get himself banned and never be in here again. Good job, Paul. Way to make your mother proud. Whatever God it is, whatever belief it is, whatever family it is that you are from, I'm sure they're all so very, very proud of you. Paul Nicholas Miller. I wonder why people use all three of their names as their screen name on TikTok. Strange choice, Paul Nicholas Miller. I don't think bravery is the word there, Bree. Maybe it's not his name. Yeah, probably not. Strange that he would choose it. Seems like a very generic name. So he used their name. Could be Fraser. Could be. Either way, seems a rather ridiculous way to make an introduction. Also, the only way to really get us to move on is to tap that screen a little more. We're almost to 200 or 125,000 likes. If we get there sooner than later, we'd probably hit that FYP again, get a few more people in here capable of questioning their beliefs. questioner screen is. Do you think that's what it is? Giving answers rather than questioning them? Because I think that's what it mostly is. Yomer's back and says, I'm off the language topic. Off the language topic. Does that mean you did the DNA research? Realist says the right answer was once the right question. You think questions are answers? No, Doom, I'm not asking you about DNA research. I was asking Yomer. Yomer was supposed to do DNA research. It probably was another YouTube video. Right? D&D research, that would be a lot more interesting, Lauren. I mean, I do need to set up another Planescape campaign. I guess if anybody wants to know about that, they'd have to join the Discord, though. Linktree in my bio or in the Batcolyte's bio. Yeah, Planescape, that's the setting. The best setting in D&D, because it is all settings. It's the sandwich of settings. I'm not sure if that's how questions and answers work, Realist. I mean, I kind of think I get what you're saying, but they start as questions to become answers. But is it really the answer starting as a question, or is it just a question spurring an answer, creating an answer, seeking an answer that's already there? We lost Morgan. Appreciate you being here, Morgan. Thank you, Bree. Hello, Sinner. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS?
Yeah, I'm 30.
And do you have a belief in a god or God's higher power or anything like that?
Absolutely. I have to, if I'm going to be honest to myself.
You're very muffled right now.
I said absolutely if I'm going to be honest to
Oh, is it because
I
you're driving
perceive.
you're driving a car
No,
while you're on the
I'm not
live?
driving. I'm on the side of the passenger, brother. Calm down.
You're the passenger.
Yeah. So anyway, I would have to
We're hearing a
say
lot of
there
road
is a God.
noise. It's
Hold
kind of
on,
muffling
bro.
you. Are you on the car's Bluetooth? Is that?
No, I'm on my headphones.
Oh, I see.
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
It just barely.
But you can hear me though, right?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good.
It's
Stop
the
complaining
audio's really
for a
bad.
second.
No, the audio, and it's my show,
Complaining.
and I'd
Stop.
rather not have you shouting over me, and I don't care about your road noise, and I don't believe that you're not driving. Wow. What an emotional that I don't want people doing unsafe shit on my live. Just had to shout over me that I don't like the audio quality of your driving and talking on my live. Yeah. Fuck off, get to a quieter place. Then you can request backup and we could have a respectful conversation where you don't shout over me like a child. Yeah, imagine not typing while you're driving.
I will disclose I am in a vehicle, but I am not driving.
It's the same road noise, Morgan.
I know it is.
I just got onto another guest about it. No, it's all right. If you're not driving. But how do we verify that?
How do you verify that?
Mm-hmm. I don't know, but I can actually hear your voice. Seems very different.
My voice seems different?
Well, no, not your voice. The
Oh.
fact that I can actually hear you.
You can actually hear me? Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
The previous guest was, I don't know. Hello, Bree.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
I know you've been up here once before, but can you remind me your age for TikTok TOS?
Yeah, I'm 27.
And do you have a belief in a god or God's higher power or anything like that?
I think so.
You think so? When you say you think so, what is it you think?
Oh, that's why I kind of say like I think so. Sorry. But yeah, I think that like a lot, like there are that gods that exist. I just don't think that we know what their names are. I don't know if that makes sense.
So multiple gods?
Yeah, like gods and goddesses. I think that like the gods like Yahweh, Zeus, etc., are just human interpretations of the gods, not necessarily their true interpretation or their true beings.
What makes you think that there is something there to interpret a true being?
So for me, the majority of my belief system comes from the repetition throughout mythologies. And yeah, like there are the, I'm sorry.
You're right, Bree. You're amongst friends.
You're safe.
Well, I mean, I might ask you some tough questions.
Also, I'm sorry if my 3-year-old starts talking. He's kind of a butthead. Yeah, no, so I think that there are more religions that have an overlapping of their deities, whether it's in power or name or otherwise. And these religions come from as far as we can remember, potentially the beginning of time. So it's more likely in my brain that these deities at least existed, even if they're no longer here.
As far as we can tell, the beginning of time. Do you mean the beginning of recorded human history?
Yeah.
Okay. So as far as we can tell, in the beginning of recorded human history, there were deities that we worshipped or venerated.
Of some sort.
Are you familiar with animism?
A little bit. I don't know as much about it as I wish I did.
Mm-hmm. Kind of human-like spirits inside of animals or even animal-like spirits inside of objects.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think that could be one interpretation of it.
Well, the reason I ask is because do you think it's possible that that the earliest interpretations of what you're calling gods are animism? That it's possible that we've even recorded?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a possibility. That's why I kind of feel like I think, because I'm not 100% convinced that there are deities out there. It's always very possible that it was just humans trying to explain something they couldn't fully understand. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I wonder if that might not be what happened. Is the people tried to explain feelings and natural occurrences by first applying human-like spirits and ideas to animals, to objects, to occurrences, and then eventually started calling them gods.
Very possible, for sure.
If that is possible, what is it that convinces you that, well, I guess not convinces, what is it that implies to you that there should be some other beings beyond our experience?
I'm sorry, would you mind repeating that? My son was screaming.
You had mentioned that most of what brings you to believe in gods is the history, the things that line up, as we can see, the mythologies that kind of seem similar from different civilizations. I would wonder, is there any reason why you would believe that those indicate there's a something rather than it being us trying to explain what we don't know?
I'm not sure exactly that there is a something. It just seems the most likely to me, I suppose. And then I also I don't know. There's also that possibility that it was just them trying to explain things and there are no gods. And I always allow for that. But yeah, I don't know if that answered your question.
That's all right. Does it matter to you if they are real or not?
Not really.
Why not?
Because it's something that gives me comfort. And even if I don't worship the gods necessarily, having something that's a little bit easier for me to understand is, yeah, easier for me to understand. And I'd rather take comfort from that than the fear, I guess. That sounds weird. I'm sorry.
No, I think you to understand, and you want to take comfort in something easy to understand.
Yeah.
Is it all about comfort then? And what is the comfort from?
I don't know what the comfort would be from per se, but yeah, I think a belief in gods is about comfort.
Do you find that your belief in God serves you any benefit?
Um, just a piece, I suppose.
Just peace, like peace of mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Does is it? How does it give you peace?
I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. It just like does.
It just does. By using this method to gain this peace, that you might potentially be closing yourself off to what is true.
That's definitely a potential. You know, that's always a potential for sure. I just don't know. I don't. Sorry.
You're all right if you need to take a moment to gather. While she takes a moment, let me just remind everybody to tap that screen and share the live. We're up to 26,000. Like, a lot farther, but no shame. I still appreciate all of the tapping, and it helps us get out to the FYP, so maybe more people might be courageous enough or curious enough to scroll through. And Bree is very courageous, I know. It's taken a while to work up the nerve.
Um, anything else? I guess. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, you don't know if you would understand any other explanation, so it, this one fits. Does it feel like it stops you from seeking farther?
I don't think so. I mean, at least I try not to let it, you know? I'm always trying to like learn more.
Mm-hmm. I want to ask a question that requires me to reveal what I already know. Almost daily.
Yeah.
And you question people about their beliefs,
Mhm.
but not anywhere near like what I'm doing, right?
No.
More in a way to let them share it
Yeah.
and explore it out loud. But
Yeah.
more to like a show and tell.
Yeah. More to trying to just get mentioning personal space. If that makes sense.
Um, do you feel when you're doing that you are open?
Some of them.
The ones that look like yours already.
This is gonna sound really bad, but the ones that aren't Abrahamic anyway. I'm even more like willing to be influenced by atheistic beliefs as opposed to Abrahamic beliefs.
Is that because of prior?
What draws you more towards paganism? And I know you said that you didn't necessarily. You're afraid that you're not going to understand a different concept. What makes omnism more appealing, or pagan omnism more appealing than?
For the paganism part, I like the rituals and the nature aspect of it. I can see nature. I can see the moon, you know. And I think the omnism does just kind of go back to history and mythology being pretty much the only thing I could have leaned on most of my life. I'm sorry.
Hi Bree. Hi Thrayle. Morgan.
Hi, Paul.
Hello, Tab.
If I may, I just want to know what do you mean by atheistic beliefs?
Like, atheistic Satanism, Luciferianism, Buddhism, atheism, the belief in that there are no gods.
No, I get it. You mean the belief systems that have no God at the center of them, correct?
Yeah.
All right. How's your day, Thrayle? The music, I think the music is dead, by the way.
Oh, I hear the music. It's just always conversation. Bree, if you were to find that there was no reason to believe in any gods whatsoever, that none of them existed and everything came about naturally in some explainable way, would it change the way that you live your life? The way you treat others?
No, not really. I don't center my life around the gods at all. So I would probably still do, the little rituals that I do, which is basically just cleaning my house with good intention, and treating people with kindness. So I don't think it would affect my life daily too much.
Is there something that is attracting you to Almanism? Omnism? I don't know how to pronounce it. Sorry.
You did it right. Omnism.
Yeah, like I was attempting to say, I think it really just goes back to that I do rely so much on the histories of the world. And, the mythologies are part of human history. And so when it does overlap, which it does repeatedly, not just in history, but in mythologies as well, happened, whether it was a natural occurrence or a deity.
Interesting. So you're attracted to the mythology aspects of it all, not the actual deification and stuff.
The story.
Yeah.
Bree, what's your educational background?
Which one?
I was speaking more so. Sorry, loud background noise. I was speaking more so to like highest level of education, any kind of like anything after high school.
Yeah, I just actually just finished my associates in history, and I'm planning on getting eventually a master's in history.
Do you think that ties into your love of basically love of the story?
Oh, 100%. Everything about history to me has always been stories of humans, stories of the world, stories of the past. Mythology is just another part of human stories.
Does the truth value of the stories have any significance in your worldview?
Would you mind repeating the question? I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand it.
Does the truth value of any of these stories hold any significance in your worldview?
Um, I mean, to a point, like I said, I'm assuming you're talking specifically about the mythologies. Because I've seen so much repetition, it does make more sense to me that there is some form of truth to it. It doesn't really matter to me whether that truth is a god or if it's something else. I just recognize that there is a truth. I think it's likely that there were gods, but it's not provable.
Yeah, that's a fair answer.
Good morning. If it was something else, what do you think it might be if it wasn't God's?
That I have absolutely no idea. Nature, maybe? I really don't know.
Would it disappoint you if you were convinced that there never were any gods?
Probably a little bit. Deconstructing a third time doesn't exactly sound fun, so.
What if deconstructing never stopped?
That sounds miserable.
can feel questions coming from all sides. I just can't hear any of them. Why does it sound miserable?
Maybe because deconstructing the first two times were earth-shattering, and so that's the only thing I know.
The first time. That was from what?
A cult.
You don't have to go into detail, but do you care to share which cult?
Yeah, so I was raised in the Institute of Basic Life Principles. If anybody has ever, watched 19 Kids and Counting on TLC or anything like that, the Duggars, they were all a part of it. It's a very high control fundamentalist Baptist cult. That I was a part of for 8 years.
The first time I found you, you were running a live answering questions about that.
Wait, what?
You just a little bit. You were talking about it.
Oh.
Oh, did you just find out I saw some of your early lives?
Yeah, kinda.
Well, you caught my attention because I was curious about the cult.
Oh. Well then.
But it's the same cult as the Duggar family.
Yes, it is.
And what do you think well, first off, I gotta ask, what to you makes it a cult?
So for me, I follow the BITE model of control to define cult. And so the IBLP definitely controlled our behavior, our information, our thoughts, and our emotions in basically every way they possibly could.
Were there punishments or consequences for stepping outside of their model of control?
Yes, your dad. So the cult relied on your father as the top of the hierarchy in the H family. And it was his response. They called it the umbrella of protection. And so if you stepped out of that umbrella, it was his responsibility to bring you back in any way, shape, or form. It did allow for a lot of abuse to be perpetuated, I guess, without any constraints.
I see.
But the actual level of abuse depended on your dad.
And this was set up in a way that was self-perpetuating. Is that right? Like each generation would carry this on.
Yes, exactly.
So what is it that helped you? What would you say the catalyst for your deconstruction was to break out of this?
When it was my turn, sorry.
If we need to pause for anything.
Okay. I talk about this every day. I don't know why this is so hard for me right now. It was my turn to bring my son under the umbrella, and he was 3 months old, and I was supposed to start blanket training him. Sorry.
It's okay. Take a moment. While Bree takes a moment, I am gonna definitely thank everybody for tapping, for sharing, for hitting the gift goal. I really appreciate you. Cat the Witch, also Heather's Descent, Miss Bear, Inksomnia, Shell, and Heretical Apothecary. Thank you guys so much for helping with that.
Bree, I was also taught to blanket train my baby, and I couldn't do it because it felt too harmful. Is that how you felt?
Sort of, but I didn't realize until after the first time, and I remember he started crying and I picked him up. And I remember thinking that I broke rules and I'd have to start all over again. And that was my moment of why is comforting my baby breaking the rules?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
May I ask what's that?
How would you describe blanket training, Bree?
So blanket training is when you take a 3 or 4 month old baby and you put them on a blanket and you put something in front of them that they want. It can be a snack, a toy, even yourself. And you say, don't touch this, don't follow me, and you walk away. If they reach for that item, crawl towards it, or crawl towards you, you're supposed to come back and pop them and say, no, that's bad. Put them back on the blanket and repeat it until they stop crawling off the blanket. And you can't comfort them.
I'm sorry you guys went through that.
You're doing.
Sorry. I feel like I'm crying a lot for no reason.
It's okay.
You're doing great.
It's okay. Yeah, you're awesome.
Was
I
that
could never have done that.
What?
I just said I volunteered that I could never have done that. I'm sorry though, Philly was gonna ask a question.
that was the first question that you had in deconstructing?
Yeah.
That is such a I mean, it hits so close to home to have a baby so young and to be faced with what your beliefs that you've been taught, what harm it can do, what doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to step away from the Institute of IPP, was it?
It's IBLP, Institute of Basic Life Principles. After that, it was pretty quick. Me leaving, I just did some Google searches and things we had been lied about were proven true, like the horrible things Bill Gothard had done, or that everything that the media was saying about Josh Duggar was actually true, and not just an exaggeration like they had told us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Finding out truths that you had been lied to about.
It was really hard, especially because I didn't know that my parents had already left, so I felt really isolated. And like my husband just he couldn't understand, you know? Yeah, it was just very isolating, for sure.
I hear that.
Can you watch
You said deconstructing for a third time, so there's a second deconstruction as well.
Yeah, I didn't leave Christianity when I left the cult. So then a few years after I left the cult, I ended up leaving Christianity, and that just sucked too.
What flavor of Christianity did you spend time in after the cult?
It was just non-denominational, Baptist, basically. I'm in the South. That's basically what it is.
What convinced you to leave Christianity?
I remember thinking that Jesus wasn't a deity. And I remember thinking that there were more likely to be multiple gods than just one omnipotent one. And yeah, that was like a slap to my face again.
Mm-hmm. I relate to that feeling. What convinced you that Jesus wasn't a deity?
I honestly have no idea. I don't know. It was what some people call a quiet deconstruction. I didn't even notice it was happening till it did.
So that's what happened to me. That's how I left Islam as well. It was a slow process over the years. I never noticed it. But then at one point I was like, I see.
Yeah.
Thrayle, the music is off again.
I know, I'm trying to get it reconnected. It drops the Bluetooth from time to time. But while that tries to fix, Ray, when you, well, I guess, what is it that makes you think it's more likely to be multiple gods than one god?
I think that kind of goes back to the repetition again. There's more mythologies out there that point to multiple gods than there are that just point to one. Power of the masses kind of deal.
Majority rules.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean it's more likely or just more popular?
Either, I suppose. I just haven't seen any older religions so far that only has the one deity.
So it's older.
Mm-hmm.
What if anime make it more likely?
It would definitely add to the probability.
And if animism is essentially just the idea of assuming there are spirits inside of the things and animals, inside of seasons and forces, winds, is it not more likely that it's just a trait of human creativity?
Like I said, I definitely think that that is a possibility. I think that when I'm looking at the religions that I have looked at, because I'll be honest, I haven't been able to look at all of them so far. It just for me made more sense to have the multiple deities. The animism would be one potential explanation, but again, we kind of go back to the majority rules type of thing. Where the ones I've read, at least, not as many of them have that idea.
What if more people believed in something like deism? The belief that, some force or mind began everything and then stepped away.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of think we're a lost save file. God's dipped on us a long time ago.
I mean, that's kind of deistic. Would you be open to the idea that the entire universe is just one membrane on the celestial skeletal bat goddess's wing, unfurling in accordance with the lambda cetium model of physics, otherwise known as the Big Bang?
Potentially, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't know anything about the Big Bang.
That's true. The homeschool program probably wouldn't have included that.
Yeah, no, we were only taught the creation theory. Morgan and my friend Vice are helping me learn more about the science that I've missed, but I still don't know most of it. So,
Well, just imagine the whole universe is, a membrane on the wing
One
of a
big
bat.
sandwich.
Okay, fine, sandwich. Would it matter to you if any of the gods that you believe are there? I guess we've asked this already. Would it matter if they're not there? Would it change anything about the way you live?
yeah, it wouldn't change how I lived. Like I said, it would kind of suck mentally, just because I don't necessarily want to go through that third time. But
Do you have as much invested in the existence of a god now as you did when you were Christian?
no, definitely not.
Do you believe in an afterlife?
I think the afterlife is dependent on what you believe in when you're alive.
So everybody will go to an afterlife in accordance to their beliefs.
Mm-hmm. Even if their belief is nothing, they would go to, I don't know, the void or something.
What if your belief is to be with the genuine souls of all the people that you knew, but some of the people you knew believed in a void? Whose belief would win?
In that instance, like, it would suck for me, but if it's their belief, I wouldn't want to take away their version of peace in the afterlife just for my own selfish desire to see them again.
So then your belief would have to sacrifice. Your afterlife would have to sacrifice for theirs.
Yeah.
I think Philly had a question.
Would it be up to you to allow them to have that afterlife without you?
I don't think so. I think our souls are very individualistic. And if there is an afterlife when we pass, someone else isn't going to be able to dictate what your soul does.
So, if I believed that I would be with all of my loved ones in an afterlife, my soul doesn't actually get to dictate what happens to any other soul. My belief is just wrong.
That you wanted to be with your loved ones, and then say your loved ones are Christian, then you would just follow them to that afterlife. Yeah, I guess.
What if I have loved ones in multiple different religions?
I'm not sure.
That's close to an I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Functionally, an I don't know.
We like I don't knows.
Yeah, Bad Kitties raises a point. If you want to be in an afterlife with someone who ends up in their own hell, does that mean you follow them there?
I wonder if you would be able to like be given a choice in that instance. Like from whatever being is sorting us, our souls.
You've said it a few times, so I've got to ask. What is a soul?
I suppose just human essence.
What do you mean by human essence?
Like, I don't know how to explain it. Just like what makes us individuals, what makes us humans, what makes us individual people, you know? I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know.
I would like to ask a question, Bree, if it's okay.
Yeah.
So I've been listening for like maybe shy of like an hour, but I think this was kind of the point where I wanted to maybe come up and ask this question. Are you open to the possibility of the existence after passing in more than a singularity? And if that doesn't make any sense or you need clarification, I think the best I could probably do is, if we're talking about quote unquote the soul, let's say if me and you knew each other and I passed away and you passed away, could I completely exist within your existence of your soul in its place while simultaneously existing elsewhere with others also and completely?
Honestly, that's really interesting. I don't know. But that's an interesting possibility.
It raises a bunch of questions, Durgan. Which one of them?
I'm sure it does. Oh gosh, like
you know you can't run that by me without
yeah, I know.
without me wanting to question it just as much.
Yeah,
All right, go ahead.
100%. But the reason why I ask this is because, and we were talking about this the other day, is this idea of object permanence and how one thing can't exist in two that we hold to, and we kind of necessarily move away from that when we start talking about or thinking about other things that don't necessarily fit the reality that we experience.
You cut out for part of that. And I gotta thank Slippy for giving me a galaxy, even though it's the day after his birthday. Happy birthday, Slippy. Missed you yesterday. Hope you had fun. But thank you. Durgon, I missed part of your question, your explanation. It was broken.
So what I was saying was this idea of object permanence and how when we understand these things, we know that one object can't occupy two different spaces at the same time. And we kind of hold to this idea of law of logic behind it. So whenever we talk about things that don't necessarily fit the reality of our universe, like we're talking about like an afterlife and a soul and heaven and whatever, we still, like, they take these humanistic ideas and the physics behind them and try to apply them there, is kind of what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're critiquing then the line of questioning that we were taking with Bree.
Don't necessarily
Is trying to apply logic to the afterlife that she assumed.
kind of. As much as we should be questioning these things, I think we should be questioning the questioning.
Well, I get
and maybe
question the questions.
I'm not sure.
The questions always deserve to be questioned, but I think the point was not to trap Bree into some sort of logical fallacy, so much as to encourage thinking about why these afterlife structures are so elaborately
100%
coded and written, and why they exist.
I think maybe
at all, or could they exist in this way at all? And more supremely, why should she believe that they exist this way? But now we're talking about her in third person. Are you still there, Bree?
Yes.
Why do you believe in an afterlife?
I like to.
Comfort from what?
I don't know.
Another great answer. Does the idea of nothing frighten you?
Sometimes. I just don't know how much of that is actual fear and how much is just leftover conditioning, if that makes sense.
Mhm. If it is fear and conditioning, how much of that is genuine belief?
I think for that answer, I would have to figure out how much of it is fear and conditioning. Because at this point, I can't see the differences yet.
Do you think that do you think that it would make more sense for there to be a judge at the end of this life that created everything and wants something from you but gives you no clue what, or too many clues that contradict? Or does it make more sense that everything is just this and we try to explain it in ways because we don't fully understand, because there are things we don't know?
I definitely think it's more of the explanation part. I fundamentally disagree with the whole, like, Yahweh idea.
If we're all just grasping at explanations for things that we don't really know, um, does any of what you believe now, the multiple gods, the afterlives of whatever we choose, does all of that have to actually exist for it to be meaningful to you?
No, I don't think so.
Is that much different than um, make believe?
Not very much.
That's a great question, Bray.
Got him.
That being said, I actually do have to go. I just realized I'm supposed to be on live in 5 minutes, and I have not even made my coffee yet.
Oh, yeah,
Love you
gotta
so
have coffee to
much.
start the live.
Yeah, I
It's
do.
required.
I'm sorry.
No, me
Don't
too.
be.
I understand. Don't be sorry. I appreciate you, Bree. Maybe we'll get to do this again sometime if you come up with more answers, or if you just feel up to being questioned again. I'm definitely going to be able to find more questions for you. Thank you so
What's your
much.
live this morning?
I think we're gonna do more Yule stuff. I think we have one more video that you sent me, Morgan.
Okay, yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, just more Yule traditions.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Alright. Bye, y'all.
So everybody
Thank you,
follow
Bree.
Bree.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
definitely
Bye,
follow.
Bree.
Take care. And keep asking questions, and W Breeze in the chat.
I'm genuinely so proud of you, Bree. I know how hard that was. You did a really good job.
Yeah, she did really great.
I was so excited when I saw that Bree was up here, allowing herself to be questioned.
I've been pressuring her real bad. It's my fault.
Well, thank you, Morgan, because I've wanted to question her since I saw her do that first live.
I bet.
She
Mm-hmm.
and she was answering them, and I had so many questions, but I didn't ask them. And yeah, I was really excited to see her in the request today, so I'm glad. That was really good.
W's in the chat for Thrayle.
For Thrayle. No, for Bree. Bree did
Yeah,
work
but
there.
she can for her since you first encountered her. Oh, there's that word again.
Encountered. Hope. That's just a thing that people do.
So very specific.
Hello, Miss Spooky. Can I get your age for TikTok TOS? We'll let you get back down to where you were. Sweet dreams.
Don't let the bed bugs bite.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. There's a few others that have been in queue for a while. Let's see if they exist. Or are these the ghosts of requests past? Hello, Shay. Can I get your age for TikTok? And do you have a belief in a god or God's higher power or anything like that?
Yeah, I suppose. I believe that there is a higher power. I don't know if it's God's multiple or one, but I do believe that there's something that created us.
When you say, what do you mean by that?
I just feel like our ability to have emotions and morals and have our loved ones and love them has to come from something. Or at least I like to believe that.
I'm sorry, I had a slight distraction here at the studio. I missed your answer entirely. I apologize.
So I just believe that, like, our ability to have empathy, love, towards our loved ones, those type of emotions and morals, I believe that that has to come from something.
That our emotions and morals have to come from something other than our humanity, our evolution.
Yeah, I feel like it does. I do think, I don't know, because I think that we can be influenced by society for sure. I think that's where a lot of people get their belief systems. But down to the core of it all, again, I go back to the feeling of love. And I feel like the love that I have for my son, like, I don't understand where that could have came from, you know?
You don't think that some way evolutionarily, in the case of love for children, in order to survive and perpetuate the species?
Sorry. It could have.
Does it not seem likely?
It could be likely. I can't say for sure. I know some people believe that it's just like our hormones or like our bodies, our chemical reactions. But I do believe that that had to have came from somewhere.
Had to have come from somewhere. Why do you make that assumption? I mean, why? Or some other drive to survive?
I really don't know. I guess I choose to believe that way. Because for me, like thinking kind of like back to like the afterlife, for me, thinking that I'll never see my loved one again or like be in their presence, for me, that's terrifying.
Why is it terrifying?
I suppose because I love them and that's like the only emotion. That's just how I feel, you know? I don't know.
Is that reunification the only expectation you have of afterlife? That you'll be with loved ones again?
Yeah, pretty much.
Will be all of your, and by all, is there a certain cutoff of like loved one that you won't be around forever? Or will you just be around everyone forever?
I feel like it would just be to be around everyone forever. And it doesn't even have to be like family. It doesn't have to just be friends. It could be people, coworkers that you've met that you built a connection with. I believe.
Why is it just loved ones?
I don't know.
Is it just because it makes you feel better?
Probably so. It could be strangers too. But it would be hard for me to want to be around somebody who has been like an evil, terrible person.
Well, if it's loved ones, how do you know what they get up to when they're not around you? You're going to be around them forever now.
I mean, that's true. I don't know.
I mean, forever.
I would hope not. But if they did, I mean, we're all human. So we all make mistakes. So I don't know. When I say evil, I mean like really like evil people.
What is evil?
Evil is doing something to someone knowing intentionally that you're going to hurt them and not caring.
Doing something knowing you'll hurt them and not caring. What if you're incapable of caring?
Then that's really sad.
Is it still evil? Is it still evil if the person doing it can't care?
I'd have to say in that aspect, it wouldn't be evil because then it's almost like an instinct.
Do you believe in the Christian God?
Not anymore.
Now what? If you don't believe in the Christian God anymore and your loved ones will go to Christian heaven, do you think that Jesus will make an exception for you?
Exception as far as going to a Christian afterlife?
I think they'll let you in the gates.
Well, I don't really believe in necessarily a heaven or a hell to begin with. So I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that question.
So where will this afterlife be with your loved ones?
I do believe in like a spiritual realm where our spirits or our souls would be together.
A spiritual realm. What is? What is spirit?
Spirit? That's a good question. I'd have to say my interpretation of like spirit or soul is again, it goes back to like emotions of love, the things that make us different, our personality.
Personalities. So our personalities are just going to be in a look like?
Feeling